This is KCTV English News. I'm Nick Brontes. As the national government's push to build the island's second airport picks up speed, the provincial government is working on securing the operating rights for the new facility. The Land Ministry has started formulating a basic plan for the airport, so local officials say they plan to hire an agency Monday to determine how to secure the operating rights. Researchers will also be charged with developing a step-by-step plan by November to secure the rights for both of the island's airports and improve the overall system related to the process. The Land Ministry's basic plan for the airport will come out in June, and the provincial office aims to have this research complete by then. It will then discuss details with the ministry before finalizing the plan by November. It's not just outside groups that are calling for Greenland International Hospital's license to be revoked. Some provincial council members are too. Mike Balfour reports.
The Greenland International Hospital was approved last year as the nation's first for-profit investor-owned hospital on the condition that the scope of patients that the hospital can treat is limited to non-Koreans. The hospital hasn't opened yet. 9 doctors and about 70 nurses and nursing assistants who had been hired have quit among 130 hired medical workers. Most of the remaining workers are taking a leave of absence. According to the nation's medical law, the hospital's medical business license can be revoked through a public hearing if it fails to begin business within 90 days after the business approval is made. The Health, Welfare and Safety Committee of the Provincial Council asked the province to nullify the business license issued to the hospital. The committee says it cannot see any sign that the hospital will open. Therefore, it adds that the province should hold a public hearing next month as scheduled.
영리병원의 개원을 코앞에 두고 이렇게까지 부실하게 의사도 없고 하는 경우를 보면 우리가 지도 점검을 가서 충분히 문제 제기를 할 수 있는 부분이 있고요. 그리고 개설 허가를 취소할 수 있는 자격이 우리한테 있습니다.
제가 알기로는 이제
The province announced that it will closely look at the situation at the hospital and related regulations to decide if it will revoke the license. It adds that if a lawsuit or provisional injunction is made, the public hearing could be delayed.
가처분 신청이 들어오지 않는다라는 전제하에서는 저는 조속히 청문 절차를 완료를 해서 허가를 취소해야 된다고 생각합니다. 특별한 이유가 없지 않습니까, 국장님?
네.
당연하죠.
이 소송 자체가 특별한
행정 소송 자체가 특별하다고 얘기하는 겁니까?
아마 그럴 개연성은 있습니다.
The Provincial Council also emphasizes that the province should prepare for future potential lawsuits from Greenland for damage and compensation, as well as for the revocation of the condition that limits the scope of patients to non-Koreans. The Ministry of Health and Welfare made an authoritative interpretation on the medical law and concluded in January 2018 that it is not unlawful for the province to limit the scope of patients the international hospital can treat. The province will deal with an administrative suit filed by the hospital based on an authoritative interpretation made by Seoul. Mike Balfour, KCTV.
The governor was fined 800,000 won for violating the Public Official Election Act in the first trial of the case, and that ruling will stand now that both sides have decided not to appeal. The Jeju District Public Prosecutor's Office says its decision was based on its internal requirements for an appeal and the special nature of the case. Won Hee-ryong says his decision not to appeal is based on a desire to focus on his duties as governor. With no appeal coming, the ruling and the fine stand, meaning the governor can keep his position. It's time again for Film Focus. Here's Mike Laidman with what's new in local theaters.
Prepare for the return of a beloved childhood classic in Mary Poppins Returns and something else, death in the form of Happy Death Day to You. Welcome to Film Focus. I'm Mike Laidman. It might be time to dust off your copy of Mary Poppins and pop it into the VCR to catch up before checking out this sequel. The movie introduces 3 new Banks children and is set in 1930s Depression-era London. Michael and Jane are now grown up, with Michael, his 3 children, and their housekeeper Ellen living on Cherry Tree Lane. After Michael suffers a personal loss, the enigmatic nanny Mary Poppins re-enters the lives of the Banks family and, along with the optimistic street lamplighter Jack, uses her unique magical skills to help the family rediscover the joy and wonder missing in their lives. While it definitely relies pretty heavily on some of the same tricks from the past, Mary Poppins still offers a compelling mix of live action, animation, and songs. It doesn't hit quite the same highs as its forebearer, but remains a solidly effective family film. Blumhouse has been responsible for a number of lower-budget but still well-made comedy, horror, and thriller movies over the past few years, ranging from Split to Get Out to the Purge series. This time, lead Tree Gelbman discovers that dying over and over was surprisingly easier than the dangers that lie ahead in this next chapter of the Death Day story. As with most sequels, especially those that tread new ground their first time around, Saw comes to mind, there just isn't that same freshness as before. That's not really a problem, however, as Death Day 2 takes things in a slightly lighter and even sci-fi skewed direction. There's some exposition that tries to explain things that really isn't necessary in a thriller of this type, and sometimes serves instead to introduce plot holes. But if you're looking for something a little different and you've seen the first outing, then it is worth your time to check out Happy Death Day to You, as while it can't stand up to the original from 2017, it still offers some fun thrills. Maybe just enough to scare your date into your arms.
All right, let's see what you got.
Moderate winds will die down before lunch Saturday, and we'll have mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon. For the details, here's your forecast. The low in Jeju City will be 5, and the afternoon high 12 degrees. Temperatures in Seogwipo will fall between 6 and 14. In Seongsan, the low before lunch will be 4, and the high later on, 13 degrees. It will be a little cooler Saturday afternoon in Gosan, only getting up to 12. And the morning low up on the mountain at Songpanak will be 2 degrees below zero, and the afternoon high 6 above. Out on the water, winds will be out of the northwest and north at 8 to 14 meters per second, and seas will be between 1.5 and 3 meters. And here's a look ahead into next week. And that brings us to the end of today's newscast. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll tune in next time. Until then, don't forget to find us on YouTube by searching for KCTV E-News Jeju. 시청자 여러분, 고맙습니다.